In the early 1990s, one of the highest-selling franchises was Jurassic Park. The novel was a huge bestseller, and the movie grossed over $900 million and left a lasting mark on cinema. And as far as the movie goes, who can forget the epic T-Rex chase? And the T-Rex itself, I mean, the thing looked like it was really there. The book and the movie as a whole ignited interest in paleontology and popularized dinosaurs. Now it should come to no surprise that a number of video games were created to cash in on this popularity. And, like the movie and the book, most of them were rather good. The Sega Genesis version featured side-scrolling gameplay with a choice to play as either Alan Grant or a Velociraptor. Essentially, you just shot or bludgeoned anything that moved. The Super Nintendo was in a top-down perspective, with some first-person stages thrown in for variety. The game really excelled with its phenomenal music score. Overall, the Sega Genesis version was indeed the superior game, but in the end, both consoles received a solid Jurassic Park experience. It was in the arcades, however, that one could get the real Jurassic Park experience. The movie Jurassic Park was an action-packed thrill ride, and the game emulates this really well. Now this is a ride game. The seat moves and the screen and sound really immerse you in the environment. The game is somewhat like a light gun game, except you have a joystick instead of a gun, and you control a cursor rather than just firing at the screen. So grab a flight joystick and let's take a look at Jurassic Park the arcade game.
The intro could not be more inaccurate, or incomprehensible for that matter. A few months later? A few months later from what? After they destroyed the park? In that case, why would anyone have any reason to return? So, from the intro, this actually takes place after the first movie, even though it's titled Jurassic Park. Now, in all reality, the story is inconsequential. It never comes up in the game, and really the only bits of story that you really see are this and the stills at the very end. Now, at the quarter insertion string, every time you add a credit, a voice will state, "Good luck," and you are definitely going to need it. The game proper begins when you enter the park itself via the really cool doors. Now, in the 1990s, this looked awesome. Now, you are in a vehicle of some sort, and as the game progresses you will find that this vehicle is not just a simple Jeep, but instead it's some kind of ultra-advanced transportation unit, or a ATU for short. Now, this thing can take any kind of punishment that you can throw at it. And you will also notice that there are 4 levels, and then... Holy frack, did you see that? That's right, the T-Rex is the first enemy, and good God, does it look awesome. Even by today's standards, this thing looks good. Now, in all reality, the gameplay just amounts to holding down a button and dragging a cursor over various images. That's really all there is to it. Now, in other games, this might get rather boring and monotonous, but this game gets around this by just throwing hundreds of thousands of enemies at you all at once. And it's kind of unfair in a way, because it's almost impossible to kill this many enemies at once. Really, just look at how many enemies are attacking. Oh, come on, how am I supposed to fight off all these guys? And how did that thing get up there? Oh yeah, now you got the bloody pterodactyls attacking me, and then you put triceratopses in for good measure. Now, as you can see, this is a really frantic game. There is always going to be incoming, all the time, everywhere. So you are never really going to want to let off that fire button. And that actually begs the question, what kind of weapon are you using anyway? No gun can keep up this rate of fire without the barrel melting off. So one could imagine that you're using some sort of highly advanced phased plasma pulse cannon that is hooked into some sort of continuous power generator that is in turn hooked into the vehicle. And that's not that far-fetched, seeing as how the enemy you're fighting is a cloned dinosaur. Now, the music also adds to the overall frantic atmosphere. The music does its job really well, and keeps you focused while you try in vain to kill every dinosaur on the screen, but on their own, the tracks are rather simplistic, and you would not want to listen to them outside of the game. The stages are really well designed, and they emulate the park somewhat, but more often than not they feel more like a ride than anything else. Now, this is a good example. Why would there be driveways all through the park? Now, one could make the argument that they could be used to observe the dinos from a safe distance, but still, it is kind of silly. Okay, this may be completely barmy, but it is awesome nonetheless. Also, why is there a wooden bridge inside of a volcano? Seriously, wouldn't it catch fire? I mean, wood is rather combustible. And this just defies all logic. So I'm going to explain this with just one syllable. Ah! Oh, come on, I still have to fight on my way down? Ah! Wow. Just, wow. I can suspend my disbelief quite a bit. But that fall just made Matthew Riley's novel Scarecrow look plausible. And that had some guy blowing up a supercarrier with an RPG. See what I mean when I said this was some sort of super vehicle? You fell into the bloody center of the earth or something, because now I'm in some sort of ice cave. So not only is this vehicle completely indestructible, but it also has inertial dampeners too. Once again, you could say you are fighting clone dinosaurs, so anything is possible. Yeah, these guys are so hardcore that they don't even get out of the vehicle, they just plow right through the building. Now, this cage area is kind of frustrating because you have to shoot everywhere, but you can't shoot the cages because you let more dinosaurs out. So in the end, you end up becoming your own worst enemy. One good thing is that this is the part where you get to destroy those idiot Ford Explorers. They were supposed to be land cruisers, you bloody Dunkovs! Overall, the stages work with the frantic nature of the game, and they all work with the ride aspect of it as well. Even looking at it through a computer screen, this falling part still gives the illusion that you are falling, and you can actually feel a bit of vertigo when watching this. Now let's take a look at this army of dinosaurs that you have to fight. The first enemy that you fight is the T-Rex, and in this form it is still able to exude the level of malice and danger that it did in the movie. And this is where you really need the two players, because even if you shoot it continuously, you're still going to take a hit. You encounter the Rex all throughout the game, and it's rather humorous in Area 2 when the Rex misses his jump.
Now, as I recall, there were only supposed to be 100 or so dinosaurs on the entire island. But here, there's like thousands of the bloody things. No wonder they finally sent Tal Set to stop the campaigner. A few more incursions like this, and the whole world will be pretty well overrun.
After the Rex, you find some raptors, and this is one of the very few graphical failings of this game. They look like cardboard cutouts. Oh, the scenery's attacking. They lose all of their malice, and just become somewhat laughable. After the raptors, you encounter a massive herd of Triceratopses, or Triceratopsi, or whatever the case may be. In any event, there are just hundreds of them, and when you shoot them, they make a sound like a turkey. I really didn't expect a multi-ton animal to sound like that. After this, you face an entire corps of Diplodocauruses. Seriously, look at all this incoming! Now I really believe this is an invasion from the Lost Land. After this, you face a number of Brontosauruses, or Apatosauruses, or Brachiosauruses, or...
Oh hell. The fathead with the bald spot. Fried top.
Yeah, we're just gonna call them long necks for now. And of course, they want to kill you. I thought they were just big cows. So why do they want to kill you? Now, this is as far as I ever got at the arcades. I mean, how are you supposed to shoot all of these bloody feet? Hey, look at this, it's like a veritable forest of the things. Now, in a game like this, you would expect to see some strange things. Well, this one definitely tops them all. In fact, this is probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen in a video game. Okay, so this long neck sneezes at you, which teleports you to another area of the park. Yeah, let's do that again. He sneezes, you get blown back, and now you're in a completely different area of the park. And now you have to face an entire air corps of pterodactyls. Look at all this incoming. How am I supposed to fight that many? Oh, and now they get the fish after you too. Yeah, this is definitely an invasion. They're attacking from the land, they're attacking from the sea, and they're even attacking from the air.
Fighting for freedom over land and air.
Now, the dinosaurs aren't your only enemies. You also get to fight a volcano. Yeah, it attacks you. And then you get to try to be Indy and fight a big rock that for some reason looks like a giant brain. And when you shoot it, it breaks into smaller brains, thus becoming even more dangerous. As you would expect, the final boss is the T-Rex, but they added a little twist. You get to fight 2 of them. Yeah, that's really original. I mean, by now I thought they'd send some sort of grass monster after me. Now, are they really that hungry that they would pass up all of the much bigger creatures? Seriously, humans don't have that much meat, and a beast that size would probably need a lot more nourishment than one human or even a small group of humans could provide. Also, where did the second T-Rex come from? There was only supposed to be one on Isla Nublar. When you kill the Rexes, you get a rather lackluster ending. Now, you mean to tell me that these 2 guys were able to take down an entire Lost Land invasion with those dinky little rifles? But then again, old Swartzen was able to do this. So anything is possible, I suppose. And the ending concludes with a little helicopter flying away and a little the end sign popping up. Yeah, that's just lackluster to say the least. But in all reality, you probably would have never seen this if you'd played this on the real arcade machine.
Without a doubt, this game is a masterpiece. It captures everything that is good about Jurassic Park. It's a very, very immersive experience, and there are times you can feel like you really are in the game. Now, the graphics were amazing in the 90s and are still pretty good by today's standards. Now, this is a very short game. I was able to beat it in about 20 minutes. And it doesn't really need to be that much longer, because all you're really doing is dragging a cursor around the screen. And after too much time, that would really get very boring and very monotonous. Now, for next time, I'm going to be reviewing Golden Axe: The Revenge of Death Adder. But for now, this is General Lotz wishing you good Jurassic Park 2: The Chaos Continues, good Jurassic Park Rampage Edition, or whatever makes you happy.